Welcome to the Sunday Night Chat. My name's Mike. Hey, I wore another one of this shirt's huge on me, but everybody liked my the shirt I wore last week. I figured, why not? I'll treat you to another one. I got a whole closet full of these things. These are great because they're baggy and airy, and you learn this. You can wear this and conceal things. So listen, a couple things about me. I have to do this because seems like there's always new people here. Might not be the Sunday Night Chat necessarily, but it's just a weird thing. I did a couple videos this week. Want to address a couple comments. It's fine. I'm not upset. Although I do have this one person. I suspect it's somebody. It could be somebody I know. I've talked about it before. You'll see in the comments if I leave them up from this. Whoever this person is, they've got this YouTube channel and they keep changing the name because I keep hiding them from the channel. So they keep coming up with a new thing. And I know it's the same person because of the way they keep coming at me. And it's pretty sure it's a dude. I'm pretty sure he's gay. I'm pretty sure he might not know he's gay because he keeps accusing me of being gay. It's really funny. Oh, just nothing but you in the pictures, There's no girls in the pictures like this. And, I mean, what the hell, man? It might be somebody I went to high school with who we all think is gay. And I don't mean like happy. Clear, gay people ain't happy. The ones that are happy, good for them. But most of them are just bitter, angry people. I don't know what this guy's issue is, but we'll see how it goes. And he keeps also bringing up Wonder Hussy in my videos where it has nothing to do with her. This video has nothing to do with her. None of them do that he comments on, but he keeps saying that she's in Australia, boning some old guy and swap spit. And he's kind of being nasty with the comments. And I don't get it, but feel free to get into a conversation with this idiot sometime. And then I did a video, well, a couple. So the other thing is alluding with that guy there. I did that video. I thought it would be funny because I'm goofing on myself. And I realized that if you don't know me, it might look weird because I just went through all the pictures in my Facebook, on my Facebook page, the profile pictures. Your profile picture is supposed to be a picture of you. The title of the video is me goofing on me. This is me goofing on me. I'm kind of goofing on myself. I knew there was ridiculous pictures there, and I look ridiculous in a lot of the pictures, and I pointed that out. As I went through them, I was like, oh, I actually look kind of good in that picture, too, because I haven't seen these pictures in forever. I don't go there looking at myself all the time. There is this interesting misconception. I understand it. If you've got a YouTube channel, then, jealous people are going to accuse you of being a narcissist or whatever because you're putting yourself out there, and that's fine. You can think whatever you want. I don't care. But to be putting it out there when you type those kind of comments, that's not hurting me at all. It's just making you look like a weak-minded, feeble, insecure, angry, bitter, unhappy person. So feel free to put more of those comments here because that's how you reveal yourself to the rest of the world, anybody else who's reading that. And then I misspoke in a video, which I do. In case you haven't been here before, I misspeak in every friggin' video. But, people who are Democrats, morons, they are, not all Democrats are morons. A lot of them are just ideologically tied to this belief system that they can't break free from, and it's a shame. And they're morally bankrupt, most of them. Like, they're just towing that party line for some bizarre reason. But that's we'll get to that. Today we're going to get to it. In the video, I was talking and driving, and I talked about Trump, and I said gas prices were under $2 in some parts of the country. I knew it was wrong as it was coming out. But just so you understand, for those of you whose brains don't work, the people that vote Democrat, when you're driving a car and you're not scripted and you're thinking off the cuff and you're trying to stay on the road and you're just thinking and talking and just coming out, hey, guess what? You might say the wrong thing once in a while. This ain't a court of law. All right, I'm not swearing on a friggin' Bible before I start talking to you, saying everything I'm about to say is 100% accurate. And again, if you haven't been here before, I am not hung up on being right about anything. All right, I keep saying this. This is what I think right now. We're going to touch on this too because I want to bring up this point where how I think about things changes and evolves, and it goes back and forth in my brain based upon what I'm seeing at any given moment in time, and when I'm sharing it to you. Because I have all these mixed feelings about the Middle East. We're going to get into that. At any rate, just got to throw that out there and I'll tell you what happened. I said something about the gas being like under $2 in some parts of the country, and I wasn't sure about it. But the reason I said that was, and I know what was going through my brain at the time. I was thinking about it because the last time Trump was, I said the wrong thing, because the last time Trump was president, when he got gas prices super low, I was driving across the country. The whole time he was president, the first time, I was driving back and forth the country every year. So what was that? He won in 2016. So it was 2017, I think. For sure, 2018, 19, 20, 21. For those 4 years, every summer I went back home. And I know there was a fifth year in there. So it was one before or one after. And anyhow, so I got to see what the gas prices were in all these different states that I drove through. And at one point, and I think it was 2019, I was driving through Arkansas, and it was $1.68 a gallon. That's when I told you guys that story about the spraying in the sky. That was when I was paying $1.68 a gallon in Arkansas. And another thing about Arkansas, and I don't mean to berate anybody because it's not besmirching the people who live in Arkansas, but it's the only state I've ever been in where people are proud. Like, it seems like they're proud not having any teeth in their head. Like, just big old smiles. Yeah, it's nice to meet you. And there's like one tooth hanging there. It's like, what the hell, man? It's really funny. And you don't, it was, again, this is not a judgment. It's just what I dealt with. And everywhere I went, it seemed like that. Big old smile. Hey, where are you from? Hey, yeah, oh yeah, well, we know you ain't all bad out there in California. You seem like a nice guy, yeah. And yeah, but there's like no teeth in there. And there's big old smiles. It was so funny, man. And great, super kind. It was the funniest thing. And I've been like I goofed on Ohio before. They were like the worst drivers ever because there's plenty of states where you might try to be in the passing lane and people don't get over. Over there, they purposefully drive slow, and then when you try to get around them, they're giving you the finger. And I remember specifically, I have the memory in my brain at one point in Ohio, it was these giant people. I mean, back to fat shaming, but these people were huge, enormously huge, so huge. I think the fat was like hanging out. The windows they were so fat they have to keep the windows down because parts of their body are hanging out the window. That's how friggin' fat they are, and they're eating at the same time because you can't maintain that weight in a car, without eating. It's insane. And as I'm driving by, I look down and I'm shaking my head, and they're flipping me the bird. Well, it turns out, what I didn't know was that Ohio's very, very strict on the speed limit. I guess they're known for people getting tickets there. Now I know. It doesn't excuse whatever. At any rate, how many people have I pissed off so far? You still here? Anyhow, that's why I misspoke in that video. And I said, under $2 a gallon. Forgot to look at the watch again. Oh, hey, new one. The one I wore last week, I sold it. The guy, repeat customer, Kevin, he's a friend of the channel. He's like, dude, I want the watch. I'm like, okay, you better check with your wife. He says, okay. Wife says I don't need another watch. What does that mean? Well, I'll be there next week to pick up the watch. Okay. Well, I got to make myself another one now. Because I had 3 of this style watch, which is a copy of the Blancpain 50 Fathoms, basically. They became a pretty big thing here on the Chinese market for a while. And I don't want to get all into that right now, but this happens to be a watch dives, and they did the right thing by making the crown larger, but they kept the lug width real small. It's only 19 millimeters. And it was my first time doing a 2-tone cuff here, and I really, really like that, and I'd like to keep this one for myself. Having said that, yeah. Okay, let's jump into the week here. Just water. Just water. Yeah. Everybody wants to talk about something. All right. We're going to be all over the place, and I'm starting off. I have a couple. All I have for notes is right here. That's it. That's all it is right there, and I could probably talk for 3 hours on this if I slow down. What does the yellow light mean? Okay, so I want to start with the Liver King. You guys remember the Liver King? I just have to talk about this because it was interesting. So Netflix put out a Liver King movie, and I saw it, and I didn't want to watch it, and I thought I have to watch it. I owe it to myself to watch it because when he first popped up on the scene, I didn't know anything about him, but like everybody else, I'm like, wow, interesting character, being a character, incredible physique, probably on steroids. These are your first thoughts. And then I was looking at him. He had this supplement company, and he's eating liver. And I have to tell you, I have 2 liver pills every day. I've been doing that for years, and I credit the liver pills with helping me to maintain energy throughout the day, muscle mass. I also eat a lot of red meat and eggs. I eat a lot of protein, but liver is the number one organ found in the body that predators go after first. It's the first thing animals eat out of another animal because it's so nutrient dense. It is the superfood. And so he's doing the liver thing and he's eating all this other stuff. And then I started like looking at him and looking at his workouts. And he'd been doing this for 35 years. This is what his claims were, I'm thinking to myself, if you're eating that much protein and you're working out that hard, I think it's possible to have a physique like that or something similar. Maybe not all that vascularity, okay? And I know this because I've done it myself. I know how my body reacts. If I'm eating nothing but protein and I'm throwing weights around and I'm working out like that, and that guy's doing it all, I get jacked fast and I get abs fast, the whole thing. There's no friggin' mystery to this, all right? So I wanted to believe him when he went on all the shows and he said he didn't do steroids and everything else. And I had friends goofing on me, and all my response was like, maybe, but I'm thinking it's possible. I want to believe it's possible, right? Sasquatch, I had that experience. UFOs, I've taken the pictures, right? So for me, those things are real anyhow. But the ghost thing, I got tons of stories of all these things. I believe everything's true, but a lot of people don't believe things unless they experience it themselves, unless they do it themselves, all of that. I get it. I understand. We're all different. We're not all as dumb as Democrats. So I'm just having fun with Democrats today because of what we're going to be talking about. I got a little aggravated. I'm trying to laugh at it in my mind before I even get to the subject matter, because I don't want to get overly animated, even though that's what a lot of you are here for. So, you know what I just did there. I lost my train of thought. The Liver King. So, because I had this one guy in particular, and we're kind of connected on Facebook through bicycles and stuff, and he was kind of making fun of me about it. He's like, come on, dude, he's got to be on steroids. Okay. And then it came out that it was proven he was on steroids, all right? And then he had to admit that he was on steroids, and he did an apology thing and everything else, and that's it. And then since then, there's some goofing on him from time to time. I forget who it is. Somebody I watch regularly. Oh no, it's the was it PR Fitness or something? Guy's name is Mike. He's bald. He's jacked. He's got so much muscle on him. He's even got muscle on his heads. On his heads. And probably both his heads got muscle on them. But his head's all muscular. And he's really funny. And he sits at his desk. He's very funny. And he critiques all these people's workouts. And I think it's him that he's goofed on the Liver King and his wife and all this. Well, he's got 2 boys too. So in the movie, you watch this film on him, and it goes through his whole thing. And, he says that his boys were super sick and they had food allergies. And that's what got him on the carnivore diet. And then him and his wife do. And it turns out they all still do this. Okay. But what comes out in the video that I was unaware of, but I touched on this week when I talked about, I think I did this in a couple of videos. I talked about how you need like a representative for yourself to get ahead. Like if you're an artist, it's just helpful, like a publicist or something like that. Well, that's what happened to Liver King. Liver King was just kind of doing his thing. And then he was found by this big company, and they contacted him, and they took him into, they're a PR firm, right? So they took him into the fold and helped to nurture this character of the Liver King. So they did it. They created the Liver King character out of what he was already, what he was. It'd be like if a PR firm came to me and said, okay, we see what you're doing, and they fine-tuned my thing. And they said, here's what you're going to play to. Excuse me. We're going to get you out there and all this, and you're going to promote this product, and boom. For them, it's they make a lot of money off of that. They make a percentage off of what you're making. Now, this Liver King guy was already wealthy. He already had a supplement company. What's fucked up in the movie is that he also reveals some things that are he is a he's a shyster, like straight up. He used to work at GNC, and he would take the empty containers, go to other GNCs and get money for it, for returns. And he figured out this whole system. Then he was printing fake receipts and doing all this stuff, and he made a lot of money on that. And then he did something else. Oh, then he was counterfeiting money, and that was working. He just admitted this on, for millions of people to watch. I don't know how that's going to affect his life. I think that's pretty dumb of him to do that. Yeah, maybe he could go to jail for that. I don't know, but that was stupid. But the big thing for me the big takeaway was the fact that the company created the character. It wasn't just all him. Now, he lied to them too, and so that's all wrong. But the bottom line of the entire thing is his family really does live like this, and he's had this come to Jesus moment, and, whatever. Look, here's the thing. You can't get that physique that Liver King has by just taking steroids and sitting around. Like, you cannot. He's got a mental issue. He's there's a term for it. It'll probably come to me too late, but because body dysmorphia thing. Like, I have that myself. You don't see yourself looking as good as other people see you, so you're constantly trying to do something. I've gotten way lazy lately, so I'm kind of going chubby here. But that guy, it's a serious thing with him, to the point where he works so hard. I challenge. He's had celebrities there and had them do these things, going for a mile, dragging whatever it is, 175 pounds with ankle weights and like 50-pound dumbbells or more, and a chest plate carrier, and, walking for a mile, pulling. It's like, you do that. You try doing that. This guy does that. So it's, he's really working out. So he could probably have a really good physique without the steroids, but the steroids is giving it the extra big thing. Here's the thing about all of that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it. It's your body. You do whatever you want. I'm not judging anybody for doing steroids. I'm not going to judge you for that. I think they should be legal in sports even. You should just admit it. Maybe there should be an asterisk near your name or something, and like I talked about with the transgender athletes before, right? The solution to that is other than contact sports, not contact sports, but track and field, swimming, running, stuff like that. The genetic female, the person who's born a female, she still wins that race. The genetic male who is pretending to be a female, his score goes into a national database. So he's only competing against other freaks like him. That's how that works. And this way the girls can still get their scholarships and everything else. And these people with these fucking mental disorders, they can compete against themselves. And if a college wants to give one of them a thing, and eventually a college, you know what I'm saying? Like, that could be a whole separate thing. Same thing with the steroid use. That's just how I see it. My knock on the steroids is if... look, if you're going to make money with it, it makes sense. If you're going to be a bodybuilder, something like that, you're going to cycle on and off of it, gain the size, whatever your mental thing is. Don't want to even judge that, but it is not healthy. It's not healthy for your body to have that much excess muscle. It's not healthy for your body to process that much food. You have to take in so many calories. You have to eat so much protein, so many carbs. It's a science to develop the muscle and then maintain it. And then going up and down in weight, like for bodybuilders, what they have to do to cut weight to compete, to get to super low body percent, body fat percent, so that you're super ripped, all the striations in the muscles there, all the vascularities there. What you put your body through is taking years off your life. I don't know of any really old bodybuilders. There's old guys out there that were bodybuilders that are still lifting weights. So I don't know. Eventually they all have heart attacks or something. I'm just saying, moderation. But if that's your thing, do it. Whatever you want to do. Especially if you live in America. It's still a free country. It's a little freer now than it was a few months ago. Anyhow, I just want to bring up the Liver King thing because I got taken in by it. I shouldn't have. Watching it was interesting, and I thought, like, okay, so the company kind of created the character for him. He did lie. It screwed them over too. It's not really hurting him that much. His ancestral company with the supplements is still doing good, and that's real. Those supplements are real. That really is good for you. Look it up. I get a grass-fed beef liver product that's nothing but beef liver. So you want to look at the ingredients. You don't want any fillers. You just want 100% liver. And then do yourselves a favor and look up what liver is good for your body because it's got everything in it that you need to live. You can live on water and liver pills. Healthy. Okay, let's jump to the next thing here. The Alcatraz thing. I love it. I love that Trump brought this up. The reason he brought it up, because I just the dumb shit I see on the mainstream media when they talk about this, because they're still talking about like it's real, like it's viable. Oh no, the governor says no. The mayor of San Francisco is like, we can't do that, and people are like, well, it's not in good enough condition. It would have to be rebuilt. It would cost so much money. Blah 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 blah. Trump's just laughing his ass off. If he wanted to make that happen, he'll make it happen anyhow. Why is it a good thing? The only reason he brought that up was because they were crying about the fact that he was taking people who were illegally in the country, so they already broke the law. They're already lawbreakers, but he's specifically looking at gang members, criminals, people who've murdered other people. Sometimes it was like manslaughter, people who were drunk driving and killed somebody, killing Americans, raping people, child molesters, gang members, these guys with the tattoos on their face, all over their bodies, everything else, sending them to this maximum security prison in El Salvador. All of a sudden, the left is up in arms about this, and they're trying to tell you, hey, if he could do that to them, he could do it to you. Well, they're scared because they don't want it to happen to them because they all been breaking the fucking law. And they should go down there. So, I'm not really, but it's funny to me. Here's the thing, though. He's saying that what he's saying to them with the Alcatraz thing, and it seems like nobody picked up on this little bit of thing here. He's like, well, if you don't want us to send him there, we got to put him somewhere. Alcatraz is just sitting there. We'll put him there. Now, I have my own thoughts on this. When you're in the military, if you look at military history, okay, and there's tons of this in every war, Revolutionary War, Civil War, all of them. Bunch of guys go somewhere. There's no fucking base there. You know who builds it? They do. Okay? Watch the movie The Dirty Dozen sometime. Great flick. I have to say, if you get the collector edition, there is a bunch of extras. That's what the collector's issues are. There's a video in there. I think it's leadership training or something. It's narrated by Lee Marvin. I'm in it. Well, you can't really see me specifically, but my platoon 2091, Paris Island, graduated 15 November 1985. My platoon is in that documentary. It blows me away. My drill sergeants are there. This guy John Germano is right there on screen. I know exactly where I am in the formation, so I can kind of pick myself out in the background there, but it's not a clear shot. Just something cool. But in the movie, they got these guys. They're prisoners. They're on death row. The army's going to murder them, right? So Lee Marvin's tasked with getting these guys and training them for a mission that's basically a suicide mission, right? He takes them out in the middle of nowhere. They got a bunch of MPs as guards there, and they're tasked with building 2 bunkhouses. They got to build the one for the MPs first. Then they got to build their own. The prisoners built their own shacks to live in. You see what I'm getting at here? You take all these scumbags, you put them on Alcatraz, you make them demolish that. You make them build it. You make them build the place. All right? We'll save a shit ton of money. Put their asses to work, man. It used to be hard labor. They used to have guys just going out there with sledgehammers, with chains, just breaking rocks. All right? Make the scumbags rebuild the friggin' prison. That's what I would do if I was president. Mike Z for president. I have no sympathy for these people. I'm not talking about white collar crimes. I'm not talking about people, first time offenders, wrong place, wrong time. Well, I'm talking about people that made conscious decisions to rape somebody, molest a child, get behind the wheel drunk and murder somebody and ruin a whole family. Fuck you. You're lucky you're still breathing air. Okay. Then I think of who I'd want to put in there, and I look at this guy Comey, this 8647 with the seashells. I didn't even know what the hell was going on. This recently just popped off. What a fool. I hope that they actually put him in jail or something, because this shit's got to stop. They're trying to kill Trump. They are actively trying to kill the man. I mean, we still don't know anything about this kid that shot Trump in the head, right? Don't know anything about him. They went to his house. All we know is everything was scrubbed from the house. There's no silverware in the house, nothing. When it first happened, there was a few stories, like some reporters went down there and talked to people, went to school with the kid. Now that's all gone. Nothing. There's nothing. Remind you of anything? I mean, don't you think it's interesting that Trump released the JFK files and everything? What do we learn from that? What we learn is all this other stuff going on. It really seems more like Oswald was kind of set up from the beginning. He has a commanding officer when he was serving in Japan that says he was there when the CIA recruited him while he was still in the Marine Corps. Right? All this makes sense. That's why he was traveling all these places, And it's like Trump's going, hey, look what the CIA is capable of. Look what happened to me. That's how I see that. This is the kind of stuff, this is the way Trump's mind is. He's like, I'll put this stuff out, enough people will catch on. They'll see what I'm getting at here. He doesn't come out and say it. He just does this. And but the Comey thing, his nonchalant attitude, thinking he just can't get busted, and maybe he won't. There's enough people still, these judges and celebrities, and I got to get on a Springsteen. What a fucking jerk off that guy is. But this thing, it gets me to that thing I talk about with the whole alien thing and the body snatcher thing. It's the only thing that makes sense to me, because you can't, how do you have this detached view that you could be this way, which is inhuman in my mind, and do these things? Like, well, if you were possessed by some entity from another planet that doesn't give a shit, I don't know. I'm not saying this is true. I'm just saying my brain goes in all these weird places. And then I love, but lately I've been watching these interviews with people that, remote viewers and all that, because they do find a lot of stuff. It's a real thing. You guys got to do the research on this. But I was watching something on this with this woman yesterday while I was making this watch band here, and I'll show it to you while I'm talking a little bit. It's still so new; it's hard to get off. She was saying that she was remote viewing in these different places, and that there are government remote viewers that can spot her sometimes, and they kind of kick her out. But she said she went to some place where she saw, keep in mind, I don't think all this is true. Maybe none of it's true. It's just interesting for me. But she said she was in a place where she saw clones of celebrities and well-known political people and all that. And that, to me, all makes sense. That's all I'm saying. To me, it's like, why not? It's the only thing that makes sense to me. Something kooky's going on, because there's a side that's just, the way that they see the world is just insane. Like, okay, take this past week, for example, with Trump going to the Middle East, right? Like I said earlier, I've been on this thing with the Middle East. It's hard to wrap your head around, because we don't understand the real history of what's going on there. I mean, I got a pretty good grasp on it, but most people don't, and they don't teach it in school. They never really did. I had a friend when I was in, grade school through 8th grade, Ronnie Beige, and his brother worked for the king of Jordan. He was a banker, and he worked there. So he was constantly going back and forth to Jordan. So I was in that house. Nice people, no different than anybody else, you know. And throughout my life, I've known people. I've never been there. I've never been to the UAE, United Arab Emirates, or Qatar, or any of those places. I haven't been there. Furthest, closest I've been is like West or Eastern Europe, like Greece, Slovakia, Austria. That's it. That's the closest I've ever been to the Middle East. And but again, I've known a lot of people that have been there to Saudi Arabia in particular, and they love it. They have nothing but great things to say about it, which was always weird to me because back in the day, I wasn't putting much time into knowing much about it, and I was aligning more with I was a patriotic American, and 9/11 and all these things. So I was kind of conditioned, like, hey, these guys came out of Saudi, they trained here, they did this, I gotta hate these people, And of course, I always knew it's not the people, it's the governments that allow things to happen. But as I've gotten older, I put more time into it, and my opinion's been shifting on it. And coincidentally, this week, I saw a documentary. It's from Lucasfilms. I think it's from like 10 or 15 years ago. And it's about T.E. Lawrence. All right, this is Lawrence of Arabia. I posted the link to it on my Facebook page, and I wrote a little paragraph about it because I wasn't happy about the interviews in that documentary by these historians who clearly are jealous of T.E. Lawrence, 100% jealous. And the way they were talking about him and everything, I'm thinking, what the hell? Maybe you're like that. Guaranteed they're all Democrat. That's what they do. They transfer their bullshit. Anything that the left is accusing the right of doing, they're guilty of doing themselves. We've seen this over and over and over again. It's the craziest thing. Look, by the way, I also want to say I'm not a huge fan of the Republicans either, but the difference is it is a new Republican Party. They've been getting rid of the dead weight and the old guys. They've been getting out, right? Over the last 4-6 years, there's new blood coming in. Not all of them are great either. This Dan Crenshaw guy really is a thing. There's an issue here with this guy taking money and saying some crazy stuff. I got some issues with him now, which is a bummer. I was stoked when he got in there, but whatever. Nobody's perfect. All I'm saying is the Republican Party we have right now is not the same Republican Party we had 6-10 years ago. It's not the same people. Democratic Party still is, and even worse. Like at least the Republicans, the ones that they got in for the most part, are like true patriots. They care, and they are. We've got some guys that are not even there anymore. The guy Chaffetz comes to mind, right? He was sleeping on a sofa when he had his job, and after he did so many years, didn't even try to get reelected. Now he's doing Fox News and other stuff. That's what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be a lifelong friggin' career. It should be short term. We need term limits. That's to be the next thing that we get to happen here. At any rate, lost my train of thought again. I was talking about Trump's week and the Middle East, trying to understand the Middle East. And I was talking about T.E. Lawrence. So Lawrence of Arabia happens to be one of my favorite films. I watched it last night again, just so I can kind of brush up on it a little bit. If you watch the documentary, I highly recommend you do it. I'll try to remember to put a link to it under this in the description here, down below. I believe this all started before World War I kicked off. And, he was this low-level officer in basically Saudi, and map reader, whatever, he goes off. They send him out there, and he's looking for this prince, and then he basically ends up leading guerrilla fighter Arabs, and they take Aqaba, and then he goes across the Sinai Peninsula to Cairo to say, hey, we got Aqaba, and then they promote him, send him back out, and now he starts knocking off trains and supply lines and everything else. They're trying to get the Turkish out of there, and then they want to go to Jerusalem. And the whole time, the British really wanted to take over, the British and the French, because World War I was building up, and then it happened during all this time. And the idea was, their plan was at the end of World War I, which, America helped them, bailed them the fuck out, right? At the end of World War I, they went over to the Middle East and divvied it up. control the Middle East. And then when they eventually left, that's what all this created. All the problems we have today were created by what took place in the Middle East at the turn of the last century, over 100 years ago now. And if you watch that documentary, it touches on all that, and you understand exactly how it happened and why these families are still running these countries. And then you get into the 20th century and everything that happened here, and this was when both parties were bad, because the Bushes, the Clintons, the Obamas, they just fucked everything up over there, man. And it was all because we have big business over there and oil and everything else, and it's a big fucking mess. They didn't make anything better. But now we got Trump, who is making things better. This is the crazy thing. Last week, Trump stopped a possible nuclear war from happening with Pakistan and India. That's a big fucking deal, man. A big fucking deal. It's Pakistan and India, right? I think I got that right. I don't know. Like I said, I'm always misspeaking. Squashed it. And he's there, he's getting all these deals. He got a deal with Boeing, with Saudi Arabia to buy all these friggin' jets. That's a big deal for our country, man. That all those people that work for that company get to make money, And all that money goes back into the economy. This is good. It's a good thing. And what he's doing is not war, commerce. Through commerce, he's achieving peace. He lifted the sanctions on Syria, which was just like not even on the radar, man. And now you got people celebrating in Syria, like they're so happy because they're going to be able to make money again. And the beauty of this, as a matter of fact, I wrote this down because there's this guy, Tosi TV, Tousi TV. It's a YouTube channel. He's an Iranian guy. He's a Christian Iranian. Pretty smart guy. He's got 851,000 subscribers. He's even more handsome than I am. If you can believe that. Fun guy. He likes to screw with his subscribers too. I liked it. I just stumbled upon him yesterday, and he said something really interesting that was in the back of my mind. That's why I had to bring it up. He's like, look, man, what Trump just did in Syria is a big deal because that's what they need so they can get their economy running again and start making money. And what that means is that these people in these refugees that have been running out of the Middle East and going all over Europe and wrecking cities in Europe. You've got, and look, not all these people are bad, right? But it's just exactly what we've been going through here with the crossing over of the southern border, right? They have a lot of problems with rape and crime and all these other things. They've got whole communities the cops don't even go into. They're not safe for the police. They're not safe for Whitey, right? That happened. It's a crazy thing that's been going on. And it's all been reported on, plenty of stories on it, but it's not something that the mainstream media is driving home with people all the time. So a lot of people aren't even aware of it. Well, what this guy is saying, he's like, look, this is good. My people, everybody wants to go back. They'd rather be home because they know they're not jiving with what's going on in these cities and in Europe. So if that starts to happen, as a side effect of Trump's actions of trying to make peace where these countries can basically build. And the greatest thing is he's making an alliance with these countries. Now, look, it's all new. I know a bunch of people are like, yeah, we'll see what happens. It's, and it's true in their religion. I think there's two words, takia, and there's another one, and I get them both mixed up. But one of them is where they want you to pay money to them when they're trying to oppress you. But the other one is this lie. According to the Muslim faith, as long as they're lying to promote their religion, for the benefit of Allah and everything else, they're allowed to lie to the infidels. So you could say, hey, nothing they're telling us is real. And we've got plenty of evidence of where they've done that in the past. That the whole reason why Thomas Jefferson had to send the Marines over to Libya or the shores of the Falls of Mount for the fucking Marine Corps him there. Was because of the Barbary pirates. Because they were capturing America. Before America was even a country, Islamic pirates in the Mediterranean were capturing our ships and other ships, and they were killing the crew, holding officers for ransom, stealing things, the cargo and everything else. And earlier Americans, like even Washington, were paying them to not do it. And Jefferson talked to them when they were in Britain, and the Muslims at the time said, well, this is what our book tells us to do. So Jefferson read the Quran, and he's like, what the fuck is this? This is insane. So he had the Jefferson Quran published with a foreword that basically says, you know, if this book is insane and the people who believe it are crazy. It's not verbatim. So when Jefferson became president, he's like, fuck you, we're not paying any more money. And they kept doing it, and he sent the Marines over, and the Marines kicked the shit out of him. And we didn't hear fuck all from them for 200 fucking years. That's the only thing that the militant Muslims will understand is strength. This is why they respect Trump, because he projects strength. This is the thing that the Democrats can't understand. And there's all this stuff on the left right now where they don't want, if you're masculine and you have muscles and you work out and you eat protein, that's toxic masculinity. It's to be frowned upon. It's frowned upon. Like, a man doesn't need to be that. A man should be mousy and weak and pale and, eat vegetables. And have women in his life that are telling him what to do every waking minute of the day. To liberals, that's a man. It's never going to be a man. Stop trying to convince people of that shit, because your messaging isn't winning anymore. This bullshit they've been programming into people's heads. These are the people with the body snatcher, the pod people. These are the people that have been taken over by the aliens or something, because there's no way it makes logical sense to believe the shit that they're saying all the time. It's totally insane. At any rate, Trump, the fucking man that he is, goes over there and says, here's what we're going to do. Boom, 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 boom. Bam. Getting it done. And the possible positive repercussions of this could be that many of the people that are in Europe right now might end up going back home, which would be a wonderful thing. It's exactly what we're doing here. So it's amazing. Now, there is the story about the plane. Everybody's all up in arms. $400 million plane. Oh, they're buying Trump off. It's not Trump's personal plane. He gets to use it. Other presidents could use it. It'll get decommissioned when the new Boeing planes come. Boeing's been lazy as hell. Trump wanted the new Air Force. The Air Force One is 42 years old. I think it's time for the president to have a new fucking plane. Not even if it was Trump. Could be anybody. They should be doing a new plane, in my opinion, based on the way our technology, leaps and bounds, is constantly jumping. Even the materials used. Come on. Like, there should probably be a 5-year cycle, is what I would say. Every 5 years, new plane. Every 5 years, new plane. Boeing owes everything to whoever's running this country, keeping that fucking company running. I'm sorry for cursing so much. I'm agitated today. So, because I'm talking about this stuff. This is why I don't like talking about this stuff. It gets my blood pressure up. Maybe it's good. I feel good. Maybe this is good for me. All right, what else? What else did I write down here? Not much. That's pretty much it. This jerk off. Springsteen just really aggravates me, man. And it sucks. One of my all-time favorite songs is It's Hard to Be a Saint in the City by Bruce Springsteen. Excuse me. By the way, that's not post-nasal drip. Somebody sent me a comment. So you do the antihistamine, like nasal spray. Then I get addicted to that? Putting chemicals in me? No. This all comes from here. It's the dirt in the air here in LA, and also because at night sometimes I'm smoking a little grass, so it's probably like a little bronchitis involved there. That's all this is. Also, I'm not exercising. I'm laying around a lot. And if I got up every day, you'll notice when I'm at the shop, there's not as much of that because I'm working. I'm moving around. But on the Sunday night thing, I've been laying around for a couple of days, so it's not moving. I haven't been hiking, and that's what I should do. I should get up early in the mornings on the weekends and go hike up to the Hollywood sign, and maybe I'll just start making that a regular thing again. I gotta do that. Been having a problem with self-motivation for the physical stuff lately. I don't know what that's all about. At any rate, back to this jerk off. Springsteen. It hurts because he's from the Jersey Shore. It's the same place, man. And his music, to a large degree, is the soundtrack to the best time of my life. and he's shitting all over it. It's just crazy. It's like the Beatles when John Lennon said, we're more popular than Jesus, and then a bunch of, right wing, religious types were out there burning Beatles memorabilia and burning Beatles records and everything back in the 60s. He's always, they say he's always done this. He hasn't always done this. He hasn't always done this. He started doing it. I think maybe, I don't know if he ever did it before he was 50. If he did, you guys could let me know. In the old days, it was the farmers, doing things for Americans. He felt that the government wasn't helping out Americans well enough. Now it's just government in general. I went to one, and I'm not a big concert guy. I went to a Springsteen concert probably around 2005-ish. Yeah, probably 20 years ago. So I went by myself. And the cool thing for me was, excuse me, Mike Ness got up on stage with him. Now Mike Ness turned into the same exact thing that Springsteen is. Like a piece of shit talking politics all the time. Here's a news flash for these people. The people who enjoy your music don't want to hear your political bullshit. I was there in the crowd. People are yelling at him because he did it. He did it back then. He has been doing it for a while. But when he was young, he wasn't doing it like that. And what I learned about him was that he's always been he's a Marxist. That's it. He's a friggin' socialist. So, and every song he sings is like an anthem to blue-collar, patriotic Americans. But the truth is, he was playing us. He was saying all these things, sounding patriotic, doing all this stuff, just to make millions of dollars off of us. He doesn't care about us. He cares about himself. He cares about money. And this is the thing about, he's not selfish. If he believed, if he had real convictions, if he believed in what he was saying, he would have ran for political office. He would have ran for president. Donald J. Trump, billionaire, willing to put everything on the line, lose money, become unpopular, have assassination attempts on his life, get shot, because he cares about the people, because he cares about the country. The left is convincing people, stupid people, that he's just making billions for himself. He makes less money when he's president. And he doesn't take any of the money that he's getting paid to be president. He donates it. Gave up everything. He doesn't have to do that. Meanwhile, you got Bruce Springsteen. You got Sean Penn. All kinds of these super rich, worth hundreds of millions of dollars, these people, going out there, and they're paid. In a lot of cases, they're paid. And they're making deals, pharmaceutical companies, doing commercials for them, all kinds of stuff. They got all this money coming on if they say the right things. And they can promote bad ideas that are responsible for the death of millions of people in the 20th century due to Marxism, communism. And they can do that because those policies that they support financially can't hurt them that much because they're worth so much money, right? Meanwhile, the rest of us, it's just a shitstorm. This is the problem. This is why Doge is the best thing that's ever happened in this country. All the graft is there. If you don't believe it, go to doge.gov. Line items. All the money they're finding. All the ridiculous places money was being wasted. And remember, less than 10% of the money for each one of these items went to the program. The rest of it gets sponged up by the people who set up the deals. Hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars, probably $1 trillion or more every year, probably. Just getting sponged up. That's why they're on the warpath and talking all this shit against Trump, because the money's drying up with them. That's why it's so important to keep him alive. That was my biggest. That's why I didn't even want to pay attention to what happened this week, because I was scared about him going to the Middle East. They're trying to kill him, man. What more of a better place to kill him, right? I was scared to death about that. I didn't want to pay too much attention. I was waiting for bad news. I wasn't dwelling on it, but I was concerned. It was in the back of my brain. It worried me that he went over there. Turns out it's a good thing that he did. So, and they're treating him like he's royalty everywhere he goes. That's the other thing, with the left, with the media, saying that they're wrong. Everything they say is wrong. You remember the stock market was going to be over? Remember all that? Remember the tariffs with China and everything? Now they're mad that he didn't stick to his guns with the amount on the tariffs. Well, he said he was going to do this. Now he's doing that. You stupid fucking imbecile. Yeah, because none of that mattered. It always was he was willing to do it. He put it out there on the table. But the idea always, 100% was they're going to come. They're all going to want a deal because they can't afford it. And America is the economic breadbasket for the entire planet because of the consumerism that we have here. Right? Even the poor people have flat screen TVs and cars and cell phones in this country. They're just stupid. They're just friggin' stupid on the other side. It's the most ridiculous thing. They can't understand tactics. Like they never learned to play chess or anything. That's all Trump's doing. This is the art of the deal. Literally wrote the friggin' book on this. You're prepared to do what you say you're going to do, or what you're saying. You do, before you even go there, start saying it. You set everything up first. All right, we're set up now. We got all the cards. Here it is. We're going to put this much tariff on you. That's what's going to happen. I'm going to do it by this date. That's it. Yep, nope, sorry. Yep, take all the questions. That's what's happened. I said it was going to happen. What did I say? It's going to happen. Meanwhile, phone calls are coming in. Sir, we would like to, Mr. President, we would like to, we'd like to, hey, we want to make a deal. Yeah, because really the goal is going to be zero tariffs. It's free trade. So we don't get screwed over. They don't get screwed over. Everybody makes money. Here's the thing about Saudi Arabia that is interesting. They make so much money with oil that the residents of that country, as far as I know, you guys could correct me on this, I don't think they pay for anything. They got free health care, free education, everything. That's how it should be done. I think Trump can set this country up the same way that Saudi runs. I think in this first term, if he does everything right, he might be able to get rid of the income tax. This country 100% could run without income tax. We consume enough here. Just taxes on what we purchase is enough. DeSantis in Florida is trying to get rid of, this is crazy, and it's the greatest thing ever. In Greece, it's like this. There's no property taxes in Greece. I got a house there. It's the house my dad was born in. It's not like I bought it. I'll probably never go back, But the point is, DeSantis is going to do that, or trying to do it, maybe he already did it, in Florida. No property taxes. So here's the crazy thing about red states. They do these policies. Some states red states have no income tax already. Now they're going to do no property tax. School choice, right? They're not allowing any transgender bullshit. Not any of the bullshit in schools. They're cleaning all the stuff up. And what's happening to those states? They are exploding with population growth and businesses moving from blue states to red states. So, conservative policies are an economic driving force that Americans want to be a part of because it makes their lives better. Blue states make everything cost more, make your life more miserable, take more money out of your pockets through taxes, all of it, and are losing population. Meanwhile, the people in the blue states and the politicians running the blue states do nothing but talk shit about the people in the red states. And so, there's a disconnect here that they don't understand. And it seems to me, it is a fact. When they're upset about something, they don't talk about the facts. It's always emotion. And this isn't even political. I'm going to go off on a tangent here. I was watching Rogan yesterday, and that Zawahiri guy, the head of the Egyptian Archaeological Association or whatever. You've seen him on the shows if you're into this stuff. He's of the same kind of mindset. This is not politics here. It's just the mindset of corruption. It's the mindset of they're hiding something. Watch that Rogan interview. It's hard to watch, man. 10 minutes in, you want to turn it off. He's a charlatan. You know he's a charlatan because he spoke for 2 hours. Rogan hardly said anything. And he was speaking as if he was defensive the entire time. And Rogan hit him on a couple things that he couldn't answer. He said he'd provide these photos of what he found, and he never did. And it just, the way he speaks, his body language, his defensiveness, the way he blows off carbon-14 dating and everything else. He only believes I believe what I can see. What I read, that's what I can see. And I'm looking at it well, I think we know that the Egyptians came later and they found a lot of these places and they kind of fixed them up and then put their own graffiti on there and their own hieroglyphs to tell these stories. I think that that's pretty much been proven. But to him, it's no, it's just interesting what he's doing in that mindset. Again, this is another one of those pod people. He's a friggin' pod person. It's the only thing that makes sense to me. They think they're failing, but for years, for a long, long time, they controlled the airwaves and they got into politics and everything else all over the world. And if they speak with enough authority, after having dumbed down the population, right, after decades of making people dumber through the school system, no longer teaching you how to think, but what to think. Gen X, last generation that still possesses common sense, it seems like to me. The new generations are rebelling against it, right? It's happening. There's this old adage, it's been out there forever. Hard times bring about tough people. And tough people bring about good times. Good times lead to soft people. And soft people running shit leads to hard fucking times, man. And that's this cycle. It's about an 80-year cycle when you study it. And that's what was going on. We went through hard times because soft people were running shit. All right? They made things rougher. So now that we're going through rough times right now. We're going through rough times because these soft-minded fucking imbeciles have been running shit. So it's time to toughen up, right, and make it good for everybody. But the beauty of it right now is the Trump effect because he understands business. He's going to these other countries and he's saying, it ain't any war. How about we let you have this, you do this? What do you guys have there? What are your products there? Okay, you got to rebuild? Fine. We'll get you guys with the right companies, put stuff together. Your own people could do it, whatever, rebuild. Develop your own stuff. We could sell it here, sell it there. Everybody could sell it. Everybody could get what they need from one another. The whole place could be a nice symbiotic relationship, the entire planet. Which means you have to talk to the people that we've been brainwashed into believing are just our enemies. You have to talk to them. Biden wasn't talking to them. Biden never talked to Putin. So you have to talk. And when you talk to them, you can't be insulting them. You're a jerk off. You're a fucking asshole. Now, how am I going to get you to stop shooting these other people? That's not how it works. Dummy. You pad their ego. This is what you do. This is normal stuff. Make people feel good. Make them feel good. Put a smile on their face. Make them laugh. You could even let them in on the joke at some point because they're like, you made me smile. You make somebody smile, everything's golden after that, man. Very simple. So now, because really the real bad actor over there is Iran, right? And there's been sanctions on Iran forever, which is part of the reason why they're pissed off. But it's their own fault because the country was taken over by the religious people, right? And that's what the mullahs. You can't have that. You can't have a country just run by religion. That's always going to be a problem. That's why we have a separation of church and state here in the USA. The founding fathers knew that. That's the problem. So I like the way Trump's going about this with Iran. What he's doing, same thing he's doing in this country, by the way. So what he did was he learned everything in the first term. He had some scumbags on his side, on his team there. And this time he came in, he went, I'm going to get this guy here, I'm putting this guy in there, I'm putting this gal here, this gal there, boom, boom, boom. I'm going to have all the right people in the right place. And then when we start doing stuff, everybody works together automatically. All the different departments get together and support one another to get rid of this asshole or that department or this department. And that's what they're doing because now there's nobody stopping them except for these stupid judges that have no say in it. And the Supreme Court has already weighed in on it that the lower courts can't do anything. What the president says goes. He is the chief executive officer, period. That's in the Constitution. That's part of the deal. That's how America works. So he's getting it done right now. And it's exactly what he just did in the Middle East. It's what he did in Europe. Everything else. He gets enough of the right people on his side, works deals with them. Right? Same thing with the tariffs. Puts all this stuff out there. A couple people come along, make deals. And all the other people who are pissing and moaning, saying a bunch of stupid shit, they're like, uh-oh, we fucked up. Because look how good these guys are doing now. And we want what they have. In order to forget what they have, shit, now we got to go be nice to Trump. So we got a deal. That's what he's doing in the Middle East. That's how he's going to take over. Well, not take over, but that's how he's going to solve the problem with Iran. And I love what he says. He was so funny because I know the argument against it, but he's in an interview and he goes, I don't understand. He goes, Iran has more oil, and good oil, like good crude oil, not like they don't have to break rocks to get it, or frack or any of that other stuff. They've actually got the liquid gold under their feet. What do they need nuclear for? Like, it's so true. They could power everything for hundreds of years with what they have, what they're sitting on. Why wouldn't they do that? Now, of course, environmentalists are going to say, well, because of the planet. And we've already been down this road. I've said it before. What we're told about the global warming is not true. And okay. We're getting to an hour here, probably over. I found a couple charts the other day, and I'm putting them on T-shirts, and because it's the global climate over the course of thousands of years. And I just want to wear those on my chest and have these conversations with people and be like, well, look, here's when there was hardly any humans at all on the planet. Look how warm the planet was. Look how warm the temperature was all the way to here, and then all of a sudden dropped down here. It's been here, and right now the temperature is here, right? And we're right there now. But a couple thousand years ago it was way up. You just see it, right? All from the ice core samples. But what the ice core samples always show, and this is where they lie to us, is that long before humans were here, long before fossil fuels were being used for energy, for automobiles, or keeping people warm, or anything else, the planet would warm, CO2 follows. Because a warmer planet is a greener planet. The greener the planet is, the more CO2 in the atmosphere. And most of it comes from the ocean, by the way. Just so you know. The algae in the ocean. So it's all a myth. Now, clean water, clean air, which they're polluting by spraying us with shit, that's what's important. Garbage everywhere, yeah, we need to deal with that, right? And we can. With what Trump's doing, if he can get the whole world to work together with trade, allow people to practice their religions without cutting other people's heads off and shit like that, let's pull back on the war and murdering one another. Let's help make all the countries wealthy, and let's also promote wealthy countries taking care of their own people. See, Saudi Arabia takes the money that they make, and they make their country great. They build all this wild stuff there. It's like a giant theme park. Their people get free education, free health care. I think they live for free, too. I don't know enough about it, but I believe that that's true. I think it's true. Meanwhile, politicians and bureaucrats in this country were taking hundreds of billions of dollars of our tax money and putting it in their own pockets for a very, very long time. So you can say whatever you want to say about the Saudis, they take care of their own. The people that we've been elected and put in office have been fucking us. Bending us over and sticking it in hard without even spitting on it. That's what they've been doing to us. Now we finally got a guy in there who's on our side. That's how I see it. So, talk a bunch of smack. I'm going to get some comments down here from people like, yeah, Trump doesn't care about you. He only cares about himself and his buddies, his bros. If that was the case, he wouldn't be president. Didn't need it. He made way more money without it. And he's actually hurting a lot of other companies, right? Because he's finding out they're going to have to all go legit now. That's just how it is. They're scared too, a lot of them. He's going to have to actually give pardons to them, I guess. Something's going to have to happen. Brings up a whole other topic, but we're running out of time here. So I'll let you guys go. That went fast today. I have to think about it. It all just came out. It was a pretty good one, though, huh? little roller coaster for you. Kind of kept it all together. You guys have a great week. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you come back for another one. We'll see how this week goes. I'm working on that fireplace. I should get that pretty far done this week. I'm gonna maybe do a trip at the end of the month. We'll see. Just depends if I can get this done and get money. Um, uh, I might show up to Utah at the end of the month, and Sabo's talking about doing a little camping trip with his brother. So I might go up there and meet them up there for, I don't know, a few days or something. Be nice to get out of LA, and it's just a fuel thing for me at that point. So, oh, one last thing, the t-shirt. So there's this guy, Chris, really cool guy. I can't say too much. I want to say everything, Chris. I can't say it right now. Well, we'll say some of it at some point. You're going to have to contact me and say, don't say it, or it's cool, man. I don't care. You didn't use my last name. If I don't use your last name, because, I want to talk about where you were, at one point, But this dude contacted me and said, hey, man, I work at a place where we print stuff. You just cover the cost of the t-shirts, and I'll do the printing for you. So finally talked with him this week and sent him a bunch of stuff, probably too much. And we're going to do it. So pretty soon, I'll have some Mike Z Design t-shirts, some Astro Van Tribe t-shirts, and this is the big one. I've had t-shirts I've been wanting to do for years, kind of like what was sent to me last week by Phyllis and her husband, with phrases on them and different stuff. And I would definitely want to do a Pure Blood t-shirt. And you'll be able to get some Mike Z Design swag right here with some of the stuff that I say from time to time, and show your pride with that, man. Let people know what you think. And the thing about it is I know I'm a little off color here, and I kind of went after the other side today in this video, but the truth is I can get along with anybody. And if there was a couple people that lean that way sitting here, I'd have a conversation with them, and I'd let them say their piece. And if they said a bunch of stupid shit, I'd go, look, what you just said seems stupid to me, and here's why. And I could still do that and still make them feel good. I guarantee you. And you know how I know that? Because I've been doing it for decades. And it's not that I always think I'm right, but if I know what I'm saying, this is how this is. Believe me, I will talk this out. And so the way I'm putting things on a t-shirt, it's not so much aimed at really, it's not like screw this guy or something like that, where it's like I got a brother, he's a giant guy, and he still wears fuck Obama t-shirts everywhere. And he's just such a big guy, nobody's going to say anything to him. You know what I mean? Like when you have that kind of stature and you got the beard and the tattoos and everything, and he just he's so funny. He just perfect strangers. He'd be like, "Fuck off." It's not good. It's not good. I'm a lot nicer to people. I try to be good everywhere I go. Like, okay, like I get it, but I'm not that bold. The same thing with Sabo with his art. A lot of it is like, whoa, dude, whoa. But I get it. You're so pissed. You just don't want to take this shit anymore. And so you're going to throw it in people's faces. My thing is I want to be a little more polite about it. Let them talk back with them, give them the opportunity to see the error of their ways through a conversation that might take 4 hours. But I've done it. I've done it. If I've done it once, I've done it 100 times. That's not an exaggeration. And a lot of times with perfect strangers, as you guys might know, I live in Los Angeles, and I go in the, I've said this multiple times before. You guys are tired of hearing it. You can shut the video off now if you heard it already. But I go into perfect stranger's house. They just want to talk to me about designing a custom built-in or a dining room table or whatever it is. They ask me about, they bring up politics and everything. Or Trump or whatever it is. And I'm just like, okay, now let them talk. And then when it's my turn, which sometimes they don't even, sometimes they just talk at you, like that Zawari guy. That's what these people do. And you go, well, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to talk about it. Now listen, there's this other side. I don't care what the other side is. And then that's how they walk away thinking that they want an argument. They just yell and scream over people, and they never let anything else get into their brain. It's TDS is no fucking joke, man. Like we're gonna have to do something about this. There's gonna have to, you know what? They're gonna hopefully they'll get. They took cigarette ads off the air when I was young, And now they're talking about taking pharmaceutical ads off the air. I hope that happens, because that's been a real problem. And then they're going to start having to put commercials on. I remember they used to have these spots, the public service announcements. It's 4:30. Do you know where your children are? Yeah, we're smoking grass out in the friggin' clubhouse in the backyard, Mom. It's 5:30. Do you know where your children? It's 7:30. Do you know where your children are? Like, they had to put in the 1970s. They had to put those commercials out because our parents didn't know where the fuck we were. We came home when the streetlights came on. They had no idea where the hell we were all day, what we were doing. You're gonna see. I'm just throwing this out there, but I wouldn't doubt if you start seeing commercials for TDS. Do you know what TDS is? It's the irrational anger brought about in your mind whenever you see a picture of this. Boom, and they'll show you Trump or a red hat, make America great. But how could you have a problem with the phrase "make America great again"? Of course, the lefties will go, well, because he's talking about slavery. He wants them to be slaves again, because Biden once said he's going to put you all back in chains, and they believe this shit. I feel good. I think I'm going to throw some weights around, do some push-ups, jump around on my mini trampoline now, get this phlegm out of my chest. I should do that before I do the videos. All right, it's been well over an hour now. I'm sorry. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Come back again, tell your friends, share the videos, do all that stuff, and, I'll see you later in the week. There'll be more videos, I promise. I'm not going anywhere.